Okay, so picture this. Imagine a hard drive, right? But one that could store a whole library of information perfectly for 3,000 years. Now, what if I called you that hard drive was the human mind? Today, we're diving into one of the most incredible feats of intellectual preservation in all of history. From a time way before printing, before computers, when your memory was literally the ultimate technology.
I mean, just stop and really think about that for a second. We're not talking about just remembering the general story. We're talking about memorizing a text so perfectly that every single syllable, every single tone stays exactly the same across 90 generations. It sounds completely impossible, doesn't it?
And that's the world we're in. For 3 millennia, this massive body of knowledge was handed down from teacher to student using nothing but the power of the human brain. No backups, no cloud storage, no safety net, just pure systematic recall.
And the data they were so carefully protecting? We're talking about texts like the Rigveda, these huge, sprawling collections of hymns and verses that were the bedrock of their entire civilization. These weren't just simple stories either. They were incredibly complex, they were layered, and they were sacred.
So how in the world did they pull this off? Well, it wasn't magic, and it wasn't some kind of superhuman talent. It was a science, a very deliberate system that was engineered to make knowledge unforgettable. The whole system was built on one foundational idea, something we can call memory's acoustic architecture. And the core concept is pretty brilliant, that sound, when you structure it the right way, is the most powerful key there is to unlocking the brain's full memory potential.
And here's what's so wild. Thousands of years ago, ancient Indian scholars just knew, intuitively, that the brain loves patterns. It latches onto rhythm and melody. Fast forward to today, and modern neuroscience is proving them right. Our brains are wired to remember structured sound way more effectively than just random words. These guys were basically cognitive scientists, centuries ahead of their time.
So this is what that acoustic architecture is all about. Texts like the Rigveda weren't just written for their meaning. They were engineered from memory. Every single verse was like a tool, precision crafted with a specific rhythm and tone to be as sticky as possible in the human mind. Okay, so we've got the big idea, but what were the actual nuts and bolts techniques? Let's pull back the curtain on these incredible chanting systems, because this is where the real genius of it all shines through. So the first level, the foundation everything else is built on, is called Pada Patha, which means the word path. The idea is just brilliantly simple. Before you can memorize a sentence, you have to absolutely master every single word on its own. And this is exactly how it worked. Instead of just chanting a line straight through, scholars would pause after every single word. A, ba, se, de. This made sure the pronunciation was perfect, and it created these super clear memory anchors for each word. It also made it incredibly easy to catch a mistake. You couldn't just mumble your way through it. All right, so once you mastered Pada Patha, you leveled up. Next was Krama Patha, the chain path. And this is where things get really, really clever. This whole technique was designed to link words together, creating this unbreakable chain of associations in your mind. Okay, get this. You'd recite the first and second words together, then the second and third, then the third and fourth. You see the pattern? Each word gets locked into memory twice, connected to the one before it and the one after it. So if you had a brain freeze and forgot word 3, your memory of chanting 2-3 and 3-4 would just pop it right back into your head. It's basically a self-correcting memory algorithm. And hey, you can totally use this yourself. When you're studying, if you link a new fact to one you already know, you're creating that same kind of powerful chain. But then, there was the ultimate level, the final boss of Vedic memory techniques. It's called Ghana Patha, the dense path. And this was an unbelievably complex system that twisted and rewove the words into these intricate, non-linear patterns. You might see a little pattern here, like AB, then BA, then ABC. But trust me, this is like looking at one pixel of a 4K movie. The real thing is just astronomically complex. Don't think of it like a list. Think of it like turning one sentence into a 3-dimensional tapestry of sound, woven forwards, backwards, and inside out. The point wasn't just to memorize the text, it was to know its very structure so intimately that making a mistake became almost a statistical impossibility. As you can imagine, mastering something like this took just immense dedication. We're talking years of relentless, focused training.
The scholars who could do this, well, they weren't just seen as knowledgeable. They were revered as living, breathing libraries of sacred knowledge.
Now, I know this all sounds pretty amazing, maybe even a little hard to believe. But does it actually hold up to modern science? Let's take a look at the proof and how this ancient practice connects directly to what we know about the brain today. Remember that chain path, Krama Patha? Well, guess what? Modern cognitive scientists have a name for that exact thing, associative memory linking. It's a fundamental concept in how we learn and remember stuff today. The ancient Indians were just applying it on an epic scale thousands of years ago. And the proof isn't loose to history. There are scholars alive today who can still recite thousands of these verses without a single mistake, proving the system works. Even cooler, when scientists put these chanters into brain scanners, they see something incredible. The practice lights up multiple parts of the brain all at once, the areas for language, music, memory. It's a full-on cognitive workout.
And that really brings us to the heart of it. This was so much more than just a spiritual or cultural thing. If you look at it from a purely scientific, technical point of view, what they built was one of the most powerful and robust systems for data preservation ever created.
So, when we wrap this all up, what's the big takeaway? What's the lasting legacy of this ancient science? Well, it's a profound lesson in the true potential of the human mind. The most important thing to remember is that none of this was an accident. This was a purpose-built technology of the mind. An oral system engineered from the ground up with checks, balances, and error correction protocols, all to make sure that knowledge could literally survive the erosion of time itself. But that kind of leaves you with one last fascinating thought. We've seen how powerful this acoustic architecture was, turning words into these unforgettable patterns. But what if that was just one piece of a much bigger puzzle, a larger, more profound science of the mind? What other ancient tools for unlocking our own potential are just waiting to be rediscovered?